When you're on set, how do you know that you got a good take? Oh, how I wish that there was a concrete answer to this question. It's kind of something you kind of have to feel instinctively. And honestly, for your first few films, it'll probably be more just about making sure that there aren't big problems with the take. But the more you work to improve your shots, the more your taste will be refined. In this chapter, we're going to look at a slew of tricks to improve shots. In this tutorial, we're going to look at a few shots from the Assurance and examine the types of changes that we made to improve each take. Let's look at an example here. During actress Eva Jane's close-up, when her character says goodbye to Cordelia, I wanted her to feel rushed. This is probably because there were some villains in the background in that original version that we shot, and also because it was kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid and finally letting Cordelia go. However, it felt cold to me that her whole goodbye to Cordelia would be so abrupt.
You can save us all. It was always you.
So I had her slow down just one line of that dialogue to give it more weight, and to show that her mentoring of Cordelia was the most important thing to her.
Okay, back to one. Back to one, back to one, back to one. Keep rolling, keep rolling. Pretend like with that line, like you're all of a sudden not in a hurry, only with that line.
Got it.
Okay. All right, ready? And action.
Cordelia, sweetheart, I need you to be tough, okay? It's time for you to take your journey.
Why? Aren't you coming?
I have to protect you so that you can do this. You know what to do.
But you're the chosen one.
Cordelia, you are the Assurance. You can save us all. It was always you.
Now, you also might have noticed that I was super hurried and rushed when giving Eva my notes. We were kind of in a hurry, but also when I'm directing, I like to try to maintain the energy level that the character should have. It seems that Eva was a little bit more flustered and frazzled in the next take after getting my notes with that level of intensity.
Action.
But that's exactly what I wanted, and I think it helped the performance. In another example, I didn't like the way that the extras were kind of staring at Mark Holland when he was talking to Garoon on the side. And I didn't like how Mark Holland was pointing towards Tayani and Cordelia. I felt like someone with that much power wouldn't need to point. And the pointing was unnecessary because I felt like it was obvious who he was talking about. In the original version of the film that we shot, an extra dropped an apple which Cordelia sees and tries to grab. Ideally, the apple would be dropped clearly in the frame, and the apple would also come to a stop within the frame, and also so we could clearly tell that it was an apple. Some takes the apple rolled outside the frame, others it was dropped outside of the frame. But then there was that one take, where it was clearly dropped, and then rolled perfectly and stopped perfectly in the frame. Often, in close-up shots, actors don't realize that subtle movements can cover themselves or other characters. So in this take in the hut scene, we had to correct that. We also had several problems with Cordelia's head kind of going in and out of frame a little bit. So I hope this gives you a good idea of the types of things that we ran into and tried to correct on the Assurance. One of the things I'd highly recommend for aspiring directors is to get experience being in the edit, just to see the raw takes. On my first few films, I was really surprised to see that clips in the edit weren't nearly as good as I thought they were on set. Seeing how clips translate from production to the edit can really fine-tune your vision of the level of quality you need on set. Now, there were a few times where I felt like things were great. This is especially true of the voiceovers for actress Eva Jane. Her voice, to me, I don't know, it's just haunting and sad and smoky. It just works. So for her voiceovers, I really didn't change anything at all. I mean, it says a lot about Eva's talent, but I wonder if it also says that I have more to learn as a director. Filmmaking, acting, directing, these are forms of art, and as such, there really is perfection. There's always an interesting alternative or a new way to try it or play with it. I'm glad the voiceover turned out great, of course, but I think Eva and I both would have loved to have made it even better. And it was my job as director to push and challenge and suggest alternatives. In the next tutorial, we'll look more at another tool of sorts for improving shots using extras.